We're the Boogie Down production crew with the TR-808D Nice, DJ Scott LaRock, and I, the Blastmaster KRS-One. We're chilling at 98.7 KISS with our homeboy Kool DJ Red Alert. And we like to
I didn't go by school. I went to school. We're going to take it from the top. Okay. Music is a little bit of everything. It have its ups, it have its downs, it have its wants. It can make you happy, it can make you sad. Music is a passion. No matter which way you travel, which way you think of it, whatever the matter is of that subject, music would take you there. And our past due as we was growing up, and even to this day as we move on, there's certain type of music that you listen to, somehow, some way, it's going to remind you of what you've been through or what you're going through. I was raised through my grandparents. My grandparents come from Antigua, from West Indies. I was raised by my grandparents. So in the household, me not knowing the difference, I was listening to the sounds of soca, calypso, and merengue. Not until when I became of age to start going to kindergarten, I started hearing a different variety of Americanized music. At that time, I was listening to within the sounds of Motown, and a lot of other pop cultural records that was taking place you hear on radio here in New York City. And I don't have no shame for according to what people may think how I am, but when I say what I came up with is you can listen to all the Motown hits of the people from the Four Tops, Temptations, Malfoy and Vandellas, Supremes, but also I was listening to the sounds of the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Beach Boys. You know, I'm just saying quote-unquote popular groups at that time. Another thing that I have got to experience is through my older brother, who also grew up with me under my grandparents. My older brother used to collect a lot of records. As he got to collect a lot of records, I always wind up being in his record collection. And I was listening to all different various sounds that he was bringing in at the house, buying records. Which was, I'll just say, similar to a lot of the Motown sounds, a lot of obscure soul music that was coming up within around late 60s going to 70s. Because we was going through that period where a lot of the things was taking place in the world as far as the war. You know, there was so many different type of sounds, soulful sounds that my brother was buying. I was always, you know, going through his 45s. That's what it was, just the 45s. And some of the albums. But then he also had other set of music he used to bring in too. A lot of Caribbean, not Caribbean, but a lot of what can I state, Latin music, like Ray Barretto, who else can I say, Joe Cuba, several others that was just as popular because, you know, at that time we wasn't trying to go pigeonhole ourselves after certain type of music. We was listening to a variety of everything. So can you imagine me in the household of my grandparents being raised with Caribbean sound, also being the knowledge of the soulful sound and the pop sound and the Latin sound grind all together. I'm glad that to this day I got them records. My brother let me get them records. I was going to school up in the Bronx. The name of the school I was going to is Deaver Clinton High School, all boys school. And during that time when I was going to school up there, some of the fellas was always telling me about this guy that was, you know, playing music at parties up in the Bronx. At the same token time, they was telling me about this guy playing music in the parties up in the Bronx. I was starting to sneak on down to the clubs in lower part of Manhattan, in Midtown, where it was quote-unquote the discos. I wasn't of age, but I snuck in a couple of them clubs. And I got to see a lot of different people at that time. Now we talking about going to mid-70s. when I was in high school. And I got to witness a lot of these DJs who was playing variety of disco, dance, R&B music. And some of these DJs are legends. I'll name a few. There's a guy by the name of Grandmaster Flowers. Not Flash, Flowers. That's where Flash got the name Grandmaster from. May he rest in peace. There's another person by the name of Charisma. They used to play down in discos in Midtown. May he rest in peace. There was a guy by the name of Pete DJ Jones. There was a person by the name of Plummer and Maboya. These people was playing at various clubs downtown, places called Negril. No, not Negril. Nell's Gwen, Superstar Cafeteria, Hotel Diplomat, Pippin's, Riverboat. I know when I mention these names, a lot of people are like, what, huh? But these was popular at that time, down there in the 70s. Now, the person that everybody in school was telling me about that was doing parties up in the Bronx, he was playing at the same time I was going to these people downtown. He was doing something on Saturdays up in the Bronx. First time I ever got to experience this guy, I went with them to a party. It was a dingy place. It looked like, you about to get robbed or somewhere like that. But everybody just hanging around like it's no thing. So I step in there with them. And when I step in there, it was like a place where it was slummy, but everybody vibing, having a good time. Nobody dressed. Everybody as they are, like they in the neighborhood. And we just kept walking all the way to. I wind up managing to walk all the way to the back. When I walk all the way to the back, I noticed this gentleman, that big husky guy. He had his sound system, which wasn't enormous, but it was just right for where they was at. And I'll never forget how he had it hooked up. It was a PA system with two long columns. Those are the speakers. To the PA system, he had hooked up a Sony mic mixer. To the Sony mic mixer, he had two Pioneer PL-15 model turntables. I guess the mic mixer was considered his mixer for the turntables. And he was playing certain records, similar to me, some of them that was listening to downtown in the discos, and you may hear on radio, but he was playing other obscure type records that I never heard of before. But he always kept on reciting from one turntable to another a certain portion of the record. And when that portion go off, he go mix it to it and let it continuously stay on that same rhythm. And I was looking at him do that, and there was another guy that was with him that was on the microphone, and he was just like reciting rhymes. The person I'm talking about that was on the turntables, he go by the name of Kool Herc. The person who was on the microphone reciting little, simple rhymes, who I consider very first MCs in my eye, was named Kool Rock. So when I was checking this out, I was amazed, because this is something new to me compared to what I see downtown. It's a whole new style, whole new creation. And at the same token of time, I was seeing the dance floor that they was dancing to the sounds that they was listening to, and they was doing the hustle, but more in a rugged way. See, the hustle was a more suave type dance, where how you like waltz in a way. With the hustle they was doing up in the Bronx, it was more in a hardcore passion type way. Then when the DJ Herc was playing other certain type of records, he took it to another level where it got more energized. These guys started coming out on the dance floor and started doing what they may call freestyle, but what I was looking, they was calling at that time breakdancing. And these people was coming out there and they was doing their form of dancing, getting on the floor, doing their footwork and everything. I was amazed. So from there on, that really inspired me to go forth, and I want to start learning how to DJ. Because I started following Herc from that club to many other clubs he was going to doing in the Bronx. At that time, Herc was the type of person that he wasn't putting out all these major advertisements and everything. It was just word of mouth because Herc had the Bronx locked down. Anybody say Kool Herc is doing a party tonight, everybody going. Or he may do like little flyers or little pamphlets, little paper flyers. And then by me going to school up in the Bronx, I got to know everything. So I was going from his club called the Twilight Zone to the Hevelo to the Executive Playhouse. He was playing in the gym in some of the high schools. He was playing outdoor in certain places during the summertime. I was just following him. I was just amazed. Still going downtown now to check out all the other DJs. But I'm glad I did that because I learned how to converse of what their style was and their style was. But then later on, as I working and start saving up my money to have my own turntables, I started learning about all these records from a little bit of everybody, and I start, saving up my money, collecting all these records. And then as I was doing that, my cousin came by. As he was coming by, he was amazed to see my collection of records and how I saved up my money to buy my little set. It's funny because in my bedroom, I used to knock everything off under my bed. You know how you got your frame of your bed? I knocked that out, took that out. I had the mattress and the spring on the floor. I would sit on the edge of the bed, and in front of it, I have my set. I have it on top of the milk crates, turntables on top of milk crates, and a mixer. I brought a mixer, a Clubman 1-1 mixer in the middle. On the side of my bed, I had my crates of records. So what I used to do, I used to always go and practice, practice. My cousin, he was amazed. He came by, and I showed him the basics. As I showed him the basics, by that time, and my rest of my family, they moved in the Bronx from Manhattan, and they moved to Bronx River Projects. At that time, there was a lot of other people that was coming under the behalf of Kool Herc. People like Grandmaster Flash, a group called the L Brothers that consists of Mean Gene Cordio and the youngest by the name of Grand Wizard Theodore. There was another person by the name of Kool DJ AJ. And then up in the Soundview section of the Bronx, there was several other people like a guy named Smokey and the Smokertrons. Rest in peace, my man Disco King Mario. And this guy by the name of Africa Bambaataa. So when my cousin moved up in the Bronx, and he was able to get his own set and practicing, the word got around about how he was. People was hearing about him. So rest in peace, my man Disco King Mario took interest in him and said, "Hey, you want to get down with me?" So when he said put him down, of course Mario had a sound system, but he didn't have the records and he didn't have a proper turntable. So he borrowed my cousin's. But I think he used my cousin. He wasn't paying my cousin. So once Africa Bambaataa and the crew heard so much about, well, who's this new kid that's down with Mario? Somebody said, hey, he from the project. He's from the project. What he's doing over there with Mario? Because, Soundview Project is different from Bronx River Projects, or in the Soundview section of the Bronx. So he went after and got my cousin. When he brought my cousin over, put my cousin on, before you know it, my cousin started speaking up about me. My cousin go by the name of the original DJ Jazzy J. Jazzy spoke for me, and then he said, well, yo, bring your cousin in. So that's when they brought me in, and then both between me and Jazzy, started out under Africa Bambaataa. And Bam was a person that he felt you was good, he put you on. At one point in time, Bam had like, I don't know how many DJs and how many MCs. I remember one time, it was up to almost like 12 different MCs. And it must have been like 5 DJs. But that's how Bam was, because, quote unquote, you always heard about the mighty Zulu Nation. That's how Bam brought everybody together, unite everybody together, all under one roof. That's how that drew me into taking to another step.
Red Alert.